government wants schools to start teaching kids as young as 8, I think, about the dangers of porn, like internet-based porn. And it got me thinking, really, and it's just, porn, if you think about it, is everywhere. Like, it's completely, totally in our pop culture or popular culture. Even if you think you're not being exposed to it, you actually are. The thing about our pop culture is that it's almost completely based on either sex, because obviously sex sells, and therefore it's also including porn as well, and it's more so for men's advantages or images that appeal to men more. And obviously there's a reason. Like, I was reading like statistics that there's the women in adverts are almost like 90% more likely to be airbrushed and photoshopped than men in adverts. So men hardly are touched up or photoshopped and things like that, whereas women tend to be much more. And it's like there's a higher expectation of women in our society to be perfect. What things like this do is that, especially to girls, not even young girls but girls and women, is that it makes it look as if our most worthy attribute is our sexual hotness, or, you know, how sexually appealing we are to men, and it crowds out every other message that we can actually be something else, that we do have other attributes, that we can be hardworking, that we can be smart, that we are talented. Like, obviously, one example is that Nicki Minaj, sometimes she actually sends out such a good and powerful message for females, like her verse on Girl on Fire, like such a good powerful message for females, and then other times she kind of gives off this message that it's kind of like, I have to be, you know, good in bed or sexually hot for me to kind of be a bad bitch, or for me to be independent, kind of thing. Like, she had a verse on Take It to the Head with Chris Brown and Lil Wayne and Rick Ross, and obviously she was the only female on that song, and I would expect that she would be holding it down for the females, but in that song all she talked about was, basically, like, I'm reading it now, to be a bad bitch means take me shopping in France, he pays in advance, run away with his money just to chill on an island, a real nigger fucking with a real bitch. And it's kind of like, I know some of her songs do send out a powerful message, but then there's a lot of her other songs that don't. As the only female in that song, she kind of made it look like the only thing she was good at was having sex with a man, and she also implied that she just sleeps with men who have money. And it's just not the best. It's like that's the best attribute we kind of have, and it happens so much in so many different songs as well. And that's one main example, and there's so many examples of it happening in our society, and I think we've just got so used to it that we literally we stop. It's kind of like it just goes over our head. We stop noticing it and we just move on, and we kind of just accept this image that's being passed down to us. So obviously, if this is happening in a lot of pop culture, like, you don't even have to listen to lyrics. If girls are fully or half naked in videos and they don't really do much else apart from just grope the male singer in the video, what pop culture starts to do is actually just groom girls, just like an individual man or perpetrator would. It's harsh, but you have to start to think, what is the difference between pop culture and grooming, where it's acceptable in our pop culture for females to most of all just be portrayed as either to be good at sex or to be good at having sex with. Like, that's most of what we see in our videos, or most of what we see in hip-hop videos, especially ones with male rappers in it. And the ones that have female rappers in it, it's usually the female rapper that is almost half naked, but usually it's a female rapper, she's not wearing much clothing, and everyone else is walking around with clothing. What's going on? Why is that? Like, it's weird that porn and pop culture are not even the same thing, but almost achieving the same goal against girls, in the sense that what it does is it strips us of a sense of who we are, as in everything else apart from our femininity, apart from sex. It strips us of all of those things, our hard work, all our strength, all our intelligence. Music doesn't talk about that, it doesn't care. It kind of emphasises on our sex, on what we can do in bed, and it de-emphasises all of the other attributes that we have as women. Like, I'm not just a vagina, you know what I mean? I have a brain as well, you know, I'm not just my boobs. It's almost offensive. It's not a hidden fact that a lot of male rappers tend to make girls or women look like sexual objects. But what's sad is that female rappers are now starting to do exactly the same thing. It's just that it's coming from a female's point of view, and what it's starting to do is actually means that female rappers almost have no purpose for me as a woman. I would like to listen to a female rapper and think where she's come from, how hard she's worked, the things that she's had to overcome as a female rapper, but instead I'm hearing exactly what I would hear from a male rapper. They say about all this sexual stuff and they make it look like a good thing, like that's what makes you a bad bitch, that's what makes you hard, that's what makes you better than the rest of the girls. Because what? Because you're good at having sex? It really does not make sense. A lot of the female rappers today, they would not have their brand and they would not be as successful as they are if their brand did not have to do with sexual appeal. And if you look at Nicki Minaj, she's a good example of that, because I find it hard to believe that she would have this Barbie image, the brand that she has, as successful as she is. I don't think she would have that if she didn't have all the plastic surgery that kind of plays up the Barbie brand, the plastic brand of, you know, who Nicki Minaj is as an artist. And Iggy Azalea's video work, if you look at it really, like some celebrities have even commented, it's basically a video that is an advertisement for her ass. It's basically just an advert for her ass. Like, that's mostly what you see in the video. And instead of, like, there aren't that many female rappers, so instead of you holding your own and making it about your mind, because I know these people are talented, making it about your talent, you're just using your body as a way to get more attention. It's almost like you don't think that your talent is enough to get you there. Even if you go back to, you know, the early 2000s and the late 90s, like even Lil' Kim, most of what she referenced to in her songs was to do with sex. And then meanwhile, you look at all the male rappers that we have, and a lot of them are talking about, you know, how much money they have, how successful they are, and, you know, why they're the best at what they do. And even though that's not the best message, at least it's not making these male rappers look like my only attribute is not my money, but actually it's my sex, it's just my sexual appeal. They're not using their sexual appeal as their only, you know, infamous attribute. They're using their money as an attribute, and it's not even the best message, but at least it's something. And it's just sad that while they're doing all of that, these female rappers are prancing around in these videos with no clothes. I hear a lot of guys say, oh, I never want to have a daughter. And it's kind of like, well, you should think about that. Why don't you want to have a daughter? Is it because you treat women like crap? And I find that porn and what we see in our pop culture today kind of almost assists guys into seeing sex like dogs see sex. As in, it's this self-serving, it's only about you, it's not about the other person, it's not a mutual thing of pleasure, it's not, you know, about intimacy, it's just about you feeling good. And that's basically what porn is, because porn is basically a two-dimensional thing of women in porn never say no, they never get pregnant, you know, they're never too tired, they're just always up for it and they're willing to do whatever it takes to make the man happy. And it's never really about this equal, you know, giving and taking of, you know, of what sex should be, of intimacy, you know, of it's supposed to be fun, and they make it just look like something it's not created for. One experiment that I read in the US actually stated that men and women who are exposed to porn are less likely to want daughters than people who aren't exposed to it. And you have to think, why is that? It's surely because you would never want your daughter to be treated like that. Not even like in the sense of, you know, sex, but just in general, you would never want her to be treated as just something to, you know, throw away and use up when you want. Never want her to be used to help someone else feel better. You would want her to be treated well. I just think we have to start asking why there's, you know, like a whole industry based on video hoes or video vixens, and there's no equivalent for males. And I'm not saying there should be. What I'm saying is that we need to think about why it is that for women and it's not that for men. You know, why is it that female rappers are in videos with no clothes on and everyone else is walking around with clothes on in these videos, and why it's, you know, the complete opposite for men. Men are fully clothed in these videos and it's the girls who are wearing next to nothing. Ask why it's acceptable for us to be treated like sexual symbols in this pop culture, and the fact that porn is basically leaking into our pop culture like no man's business. But yeah, that's the video, guys. Controversial. Hope you liked the video, guys. I know it's controversial, but let's be honest, I eat controversy for breakfast. So yeah, favourite it, like it, subscribe, blogs down below. Come back next time, should have a video out end of this week. Bye guys. Tut, 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 tut.